All right, guys, let's take a look at the house of Mancera today. We're going to check out what's going on with the offerings that I've collected from them. I'm going to show you guys kind of my favorites, my least favorites, and just an overall impression of the house. You guys will get a good feel for what these guys have to offer. They have 82 fragrances released under Mancera and over 100 in the Montal category, which is a sister company of Mancera, owned by the same guy who also perfumes for this company. So he is the entrepreneur behind this. His name is Pierre Montal. And I think Mancera, for me personally, are the ones that I gravitate towards more for whatever subjective reasons. I haven't found a Montal yet that I do like besides the cafe one in the chocolate greedy one. Those are pretty good, but I never went and bought that. Now they're pretty accessible. You can go to like a Neiman Marcus or one of those stores with fragrances on the high end and walk around and find Montals just sitting there to smell, which is a pretty convenient thing nowadays. That fragrance kind of YouTube has blown up Frag.com, and the whole thing is just really, really big now, and I'm into that. So I'm going to unbox one for you guys. This is my newest one. It got sent to me by a friend of mine on YouTube named Novice Knows. He's awesome. Really good comprehensive reviews, very good presentation on him. He sent me Oud Lemon Mint. This is one of the first fragrances, full boxes that I've ever gotten sent by a friend or anything like that. So we have Oud Lemon Mint. This one was actually, he sent it to me because it was on my wish list and he heard me say it in one of my videos. But you get these pretty sheen kind of boxes here. This is just like a kind of like a modified like cardboard kind of deal here. It's got a shine on the outside, like really, really shiny. Tells you where it's from. It gives you the EDP concentration, made in France. Okay, so yeah, it's got all the bells and whistles of a regular old shiny box. Nothing crazy there. And then you get these little cool bags, which I don't know what they cost them to put those, but they're actually a nice little touch if you want to like throw this in a bag or something and run around with it. And this is the smallest bottle from them I have. This is Oud Lemon Mint. It's very nice, guys. It's a really good deal here. It's like a fresh fragrance with like an oud that's in it that is very acceptable. Like if you were a beginner with oud, this is like great on board to oud. This is super fresh, borderline tropical, very fall and spring shines in those seasons. So this thing's really nice, guys. I don't mind wearing this to work. I don't mind wearing it, and it's a pretty bottle, right? The gradient is really nice to check out there. All their atomizers are very good. Like that just sprayed all the way down there. So the atomizers are really good, very nice and airy, pressurized atomizers. I'd say they're right beneath Dior's perfect atomizer that I do like, and also the atomizers from Argos are very, very good too. So I keep track of these things going forward. If I find really good atomizers, they're kind of the gold standards I compare things to. So as price goes, these are really affordable, guys, but their retail prices are super high, like 180 for these big bottles. So this one, believe on their websites in the 100-130 zone. So this is a 60 ml, right? So usually their fragrances are 120 ml, which is double the size of that. And these are actually some nice big bottles. Like I'll get to this one in a second. It's one of my favorites for sure, but you can see the size difference in the bottles, double the size. And I got this in like $80 range. This big bottle for in the $80 range. This one on discounters and the 60 mLs, you can get them like $50, guys. And that's really cool for me because that's like a buy-in for niche, like a niche designer. So let's break down like how I feel about the house before we get into all these crazy unique fragrances. They use a lot of synthetic things. Like they're definitely using some super synthetic chemicals. They get a little bit crazy with the perfumery. Some of them are really harsh, but in a special way. I do enjoy these a lot. These do their own thing. They don't smell like anything else in my collection. They really do kind of march to the beat of their own drum, all of the Manceras. Some of them are really bad misses. Some of them are overly synthetic. And some of them are exactly what they want it to be, what they set out to do. Some of them are like versions of popular things. Like I have a few on this list you'll see that are versions of something that you've seen before, smelled before, but it's Mancera's crazy like avant-garde kind of take on it. But they do balance like these natural kind of smells with these synthetic smells, and they have this signature kind of musky, sweetness, perfumey thing in all of their fragrances to varying degrees. So Oud Lemon Mint is definitely a all-rounder, a very gentle, special one to get into, especially if you want to get into a fresh, clean oud fragrance that's not really, it's like the most mass appealing I could find an oud ever, like ever. It's the cleanest, easiest to wear kind of oud ever. And you might not even realize you're wearing oud. It is very like kind of in the background, but right now the whole room's smelling great in the air, and it lasts pretty good. All of these, they last variably. I'd say some of them are beastly beyond comprehension, and some of them are just like kind of short-lived. Like I'll let you know which ones are which. So let's hit a popular one. We have Intense Cedrat Boise. A lot of experience with this one, guys. I really like it. Now I notice a difference in the caps here. Like there's the gold caps. There's these like kind of dark metal caps, and then they also have the black caps with the gold. Even the bottom on this one is a gold bottom, right? So they do vary in what they're doing with all their bottles. Like they definitely vary. This one though, I think is like the gold standard, kind of 120 mLs for a really great price and an extremely cool fragrance that takes that very identifiable hype DNA of like the Creed Aventus Black Courant kind of thing with some smokiness from birch woods. Very masculine, citrusy deal. But then you also get that signature kind of depth that Mancera has. They do have some kind of like, you can smell all these different elements to this fragrance. It is very, very layered. There's a lot of nuance to these. So this one for sure, what I really think sets it apart from all the other like, you know, Creed Aventus style DNA and dupes and stuff and whatever, every company's making their version of it. The Cedrat Boise here does a really nice job of adding leather. And that leather, the way it's done in here, it just takes it to a different level. The citruses are really juicy and nice, and this one is just super cool. Some people don't like this when they smell it. You know, blind testing, I had someone blind test this and it was their least favorite of all the ones I showed them, but subjectives aside, it is a very hyped, popular fragrance for good reason. There is quality here, and for the price, it's really hard to look away from this as a choice, for sure, as one of the first ones you get from Mancera. I say sample the Cedrat Boise original versus this, and this one's just a little bit more me, a little bit more interesting, and a little bit more statement making than that one, but it is still very nice and mass appealing and enjoyable. So definitely check this one out. Intense Cedrat Boise is hyped for good reasons. It lasts pretty much all day too, and you don't have to go crazy on the sprays, but you could if you want. It doesn't kill anyone if you do it. So Soleil d'Italie. Now I think Ross from TLTG was the first one who gave me the idea to wear this, and I definitely agree that this is like a super great fragrance. Now this is a light citrus. There is some like watery notes. It's not necessarily like a bro aquatic, and it's a different take. It's very perfumey. It's very light, airy, but it still lasts, and it dries down into this like sweet kind of radiant musky sweetness. It's very fresh. It's a very beautiful fragrance, guys. Super duper high level like summer deal right here, and some of the nicest citruses that I've ever worn. The way this one comes out is just, it's really nice, guys. Like super complimentary. Like a lot of people will smell this and be like, wow, that's great. So it is very nice. It is an extremely good fragrance, and in the price point that you could get it, but for this huge bottle, 120 mLs, it's definitely something I would look at. And again, I'm just going to remind you, I'm not selling you anything, and I'm not getting paid for any of this. I'm just saying this one in my collection made me happy a lot of times. So I definitely was happy about this fragrance. And it's unisex, so girls can wear it too. I would say that most of these are, except for the outright like manly ones. So yeah, there's some feminine components to this for sure, in some of that floral kind of quality that it has, a little bit of this lightness, but really, guys, it's like a citrus, heavenly citrus scent. Very, very nice here. Like, just super easy to wear, man. And it's really beautiful, and it projects like a monster for the first like hour, and then I'd say you get into the dry down, which is this really comfortable, clean smelling, sweet, warm musks. And it's just really, really nice. What more could I say about it? It's just excellent. I'd say there's really nothing that I've smelled like that. There are things in that family for sure, like it competes with. Like maybe if you want to stretch it, like Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, maybe. If you want to stretch it in that direction, Versace Pour Homme even, you could definitely say that they're similar families, but I'd say no. And now here's one that's like the most citrusy bang I've ever smelled in my life. This is Sicily. The bottle's almost full, guys, because every time I wear this, it's like one spray. Like, it's really no joke. This thing is like, Sicily is just, it's unforgiving citrus. Probably the strongest floral citrus deal you've ever got. It's got bite to it, like a perfumey. It's feminine. It comes off feminine for sure. Very like women's perfumey kind of. So when I spray this and smell it, I know what it is, but I could just taste this. It's so unrelentingly strong. And it's really a marvel to me, because a lot of these, floral citrus fragrances aren't like eternal punishing fragrances. Usually they're light, but this one, for whatever reason, if I want to say like the closest thing to this is like a cleaning supply of some kind, like a really, really like powerful cleaning supply, but in a perfumey way. It is still nice to wear, and out in the air it is nice. It's very, very bright and very, very in your face kind of deal. This one I expected a little bit different, because when I wore the sample of it, it wasn't as potent, and I guess because of the little sprayer on the sample, you're getting like these half sprays. This sprayer is a really nice pressurized diffused atomizer, so maybe it's just laying out like a big amount of it in a nice distribution, and you're just getting this projection off of this thing. It is strong, guys. I'd say it's kind of one of those like niche, only get this if you sample it kind of things. You might enjoy this, but for me, I taste this one all day when I wear it. It's like on my tongue. I just smelled this and I can already taste it. So it's very, very potent, and it affects me in some kind of way. But if you guys are out there looking for like just an unapologetically strong citrus fragrance with a lot of floral and perfumey components, I'd say Sicily is right up your alley. Probably one of the most beast mode things I have, and it's just like not what you'd expect a beast mode thing to be. Oh yeah, segue. I'm wearing Calan right now, so just wanted to say, scent of the day, Calan. Very nice fragrance here. Not for everyone, truly a niche fragrance from Parfums de Marly. Finally, I found something different from them that isn't just mass appealing besides their mainstream hits that everybody knows about. Calan's kind of cool, check it out. Anyway, Cosmic Pepper by Mancera. Now I have Cosmic Pepper by Mancera. Interesting name. I don't really get anything cosmic from this or peppery from this. I'm not sure what the name is, right? Some of his naming can be interesting and questionable. So I'll show you the next one. One of my favorites is coming up next. This one is just okay for me. It is like this fragrance a lot. Chanel Allure Homme Sport. They have a lot of commonalities, guys. I'd say the Chanel is safer of a bet and just a lot more direct in what it's trying to do. A little bit less all over the place, a little bit less crazy. But if you want like that DNA and just a little bit more of a crazy twist on it, it's definitely a crazy twist on it. It's got like so much more going on. It's a little bit more synthetic too in a lot of ways. Like this is just pleasant the second you smell it. It's just really nice. Chanel Allure Homme Sport is really hard to miss. It's just a win-win-win fragrance all the time, every time you wear it. This one though could be a miss for you guys, so just go into this with like a little bit of caution. Now, when it hits good, it's really, really nice, guys. Like when you spray the right amount of this and it's the right temperature out, this thing's perfect. It's really, really nice, but I feel like it could be easily overdone on the sprays, and you just really need to know what you're doing when you try to wear this to get the most out of it. I'd say it's very interesting, fresh, creamy, kind of sweet, musky fragrance. I'd say it almost reminded me of vanilla, but I believe it is tonka bean, which sometimes I could see how tonka bean and vanilla could be almost confused. This one has like more of a powdery tonka bean, slightly in the vanilla direction of how vanilla smells, but divert that into the sweet, fresh. There's some citruses in here. I believe it says oud is in here, but I don't I don't get oud, guys, at all from this. So yeah, it's just, and you get a little tiny bit of pepper. Nothing really crazy peppery about this. You know, when I say pepper, like there's absolutely pepper in this Killan, right? Absolutely some pepper in the Soleil d'Italia, right? That uplifting kind of zingy, you know, almost like it's a fresh kind of like zingy, uplifting pepper. This has only a tiny, tiny bit of that. And it really does do the Chanel L'Orme Sport kind of thing, this cosmic pepper, but it does a big diversion from that. So definitely if you're going into this, just looking for a cheaper version of Chanel L'Orme Sport, don't do that. This is not just a cheaper version of a L'Orme Sport. It is its own fragrance. I'd say it's like a niche take or just like an avant-garde take on that DNA. So definitely do some research before you grab this. I think this is still an all-rounder, and you could still definitely wear this to work and rock it around and still stand out pretty nicely. So it's definitely good, guys. Definitely really good. I'd say probably a B tier, where it's super acceptable, super good for what it is. It's excellent, but shop around a little bit and do your research before blind buying this. I blind bought, well, no, actually I sampled this and I got it and I'm happy about it, but for other people out there, I would say come with a cautionary tale for that one. And here's one of my favorites. I'm going to get to two of my favorites now. Silver Blue. And a lot of people have problems with the name of this. And I think that he might just be joking. Like he might just be joking around with you guys, like subverted expectations, like plot twist, right? It is super cool, dude. Like I really like the bottle, how it looks. I like the marketing on it. It's like this silver with the blue. Oh man, didn't see that coming with this name. Guys, this is one of the best ones they have, and it's the least crazy one. It's the least like, you know, loud, crazy, offensive one. This is just a pleasant, fresh, sweet caramelly kind of fragrance. It's just really nice. It doesn't remind me of Grand Soir, but it has that kind of balance that Grand Soir has, where it's got sweet components and then it has fresh components. Grand Soir has vanillas and ambers, so warm and sweet. And it also has labdanum, which kind of gives it this, for me, a barbershop-y kind of DNA, like a masculine note in there. It's almost slightly a green note even. This one has that too. I'd say for the first 10-15 minutes that you spray this, just leave it alone, let it develop, and it's going to turn into this really, really compliment pulling, masculine. Although a girl could probably wear this, but I'd say it's more on the masculine end of things. Silver Blue is really, really nice, guys. One of my favorites from the house for sure. I definitely enjoy this one quite a bit, so lasts forever. It's a little bit linear, guys, so after that opening, you're going to get this linear kind of display, but it gives you this sweet freshness that just sticks to you and keeps going, and it keeps smelling like almost nicer and nicer as it's on your clothes and it's just kind of burning off of you. Definitely great. Super nice right here. So I got this for, I think it was like $80, man. Something like that. So you don't have to spend 180 on these. I wouldn't spend 180 on any of these because that's just a little bit steep, and you could get some, like, you know, you could get some real targets for that one for $180, $200. You can get some really, really like stuff that you can't get cheaper, and you could get these under 100. So this is why I really like this brand, because of their ability to get this to you. This 120 ml huge bottle, great pressurizer, magnetic caps, serious bottle. Like, it's nice on your shelf. They're pretty. They're Crazy Man is perfuming them. Some of his stuff is a little bit like all over the place. The synthetics, it's provocative. I enjoy it. So definitely check out Mancera's Silver Blue. And I think I saved the best for last, or one of the best for last. I don't know. I'm push and pull with like three of these. I'll show you the top three in a second. Mancera Red Tobacco Intense. You guys know this was coming. You know I like this one. It's definitely one of my favorite deals. I like it way better than the Red Tobacco Original. I don't really like the Red Tobacco Original that much compared to this. This just has a lot more warmth, a lot more body to it, a lot more depth. It's a little less fruity. It's a little bit more vanillic, smoky, deeper, more wintry scent right here, I'd say. Yeah, the leather comes off hard, like hard animalics. When it dries down, you start getting this oud that comes out. but it's like that sweet kind of not I'd say it's not even like it's like a Western kind of style of oud. It's not really like a Middle Eastern kind of style of oud, but it's really nice, guys. Not for everyone, and it's not really a big compliment puller. It's a little bit much sometimes. It's a statement kind of deal here. So I'd say if you're in league for like a warm, dense, really nice, it gets vanillic, it almost has gourmand components, but a super rough, like challenging first spray. Like when you first spray this, the leather is hitting you really hard, the woods are hitting you like really hard. It's very brash, like very rough on you when you first are dealing with this. So not for everyone, but one of my favorites. I didn't like this the first time I smelled it. I didn't like this the first time I smelled it. Silver blue. A lot of these I didn't like the first time I smelled them. I did like most of the other ones that I showed you, but the first time I smelled these two, I didn't like them. And now they're some of my favorites from the house, especially Cedrat Boise Intense. I didn't like this when I first smelled it, but now I do. Like, it's one of my favorites. This is also that kind of phenomenon again, one of my favorites. So Red Tobacco Intense, definitely one of those up there. And let me just say, it's not as beast mode as everyone makes it out to be. If you really wear this fragrance and you kind of go around with it and live with it, it is not that beast mode, guys. It really isn't. It gets close to you really quick. Comes in close, follows you around all day really quick. It is not as beast mode as you are saying. I'm telling you, it really isn't. Even if you spray a lot, which I've done, it isn't as ridiculous as people say it is. I have to shut that down, or at least help de-hype that, because it is not. Hafez 1984 from Alexandria, it treads basically in the same territory. So that's a tough one, guys, for me. Now that I know this exists, I probably would just re-up on this next time I instead go to buy that Mancera, because Alexandria did a really good job on, whether they're saying it or not, these two are a little bit suspiciously close, guys. I'd say there are some like subjective differences within it, but they're really close, man. When you spray these, like I just layer these sometimes, and you can't really tell which one's which. You really couldn't. I'd be hard pressed to tell the difference between this one and that one. Now I did smell another one that looks like this bottle, a clone of this at a rack store, and I forget the name. It might have just been called Tobacco Red or something. But that one was not good at all, and people were pushing that one on Frag.com. Should be pushing this one. Hafez 1984 is way, way better. Let's get you in there. Hafez 1984 is way, way better than all of those clones of Red Tobacco Intense, guys. It's really nice, even slightly less offensive when you first spray it. It's actually really good. So listen, again, I'm going to say it again. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not connected to any of these companies. I'm just trying to help you guys, get a grasp of what's going on here. So an honorable mention, I do have I do have a lot of these little decants. I was going to go through them in this video, but who wants to see that? They're just what I've been sampling, and what I've sampled so far is many, many offerings from this house that might have stood out to me. Fabulous Yuzu. Probably going to be my next bottle. I've never smelled anything like it. It's really, really nice. I definitely want to add this to my collection. Fabulous Yuzu is probably my next one. I've tried like Amberful, Amore Cafe, Eternal Wood, bunch of other ones, Aqua Woods, So Blue. The list goes on. I have a ton of them. I have a ton of these samples, guys. I've tried almost all the ones that interested me. I just got samples of, and I'd have to say Fabulous Yuzu is probably going to be the next one. All the other ones, for whatever reason, I just did not add to my collection. So really quick recap. Let's give you I'll give you a top 3. So if I had to go back and buy one of these first, it would probably be Silver Blue. Silver Blue would be the first thing I get, going back in retrospect. I'd probably do it in this order. Silver Blue, Soleil d'Italie. You got sweet and dense, long-lasting and fresh. You got bright, uplifting, fresh, peppery, citrusy. Can rock it like every day. Super duper summer scent right here. And just really awesome fragrance that I have nothing like. There are things that are in its family, but it does stand out. So Silver Blue, and Soleil d'Italia I would probably go back and grab first. Then comes the a little bit more masculine statement makers, which Intense Red Tobacco and Cedrat Boise. Knowing that Red Tobacco does have a clone now, I'd say I'd probably just grab the Hafez 1984 from now on. I'd probably just stock this because it's cheaper. But that being said, you can probably get this for under 100. So, you know, play around with which one you want to try. Intense Cedrat Boise, it's right up there. It's maybe my favorite of the Aventus style of DNAs ever. So yeah, guys, I definitely would check this out if you want to get into some kind of masculine territory with citrus and some leather. And then I'd say Oud Lemon Mint is just as good as every of the first ones I would consider. So we got Oud Lemon Mint. Let's see if I could hold all these without dropping them. So let's show you really quick. I got 3 here: Silver Blue, Oud Lemon Mint, Cedrat Boise Intense, and Soleil d'Italia. I believe those 4 basically rise to the top. There's really nothing that I have or anything out there that I've smelled that is kind of exactly these. So check them out, guys. I really enjoy Mancera. I know that some guys don't like them, and some people will think they're overly synthetic or overly just all over the place, and kind of like that about them. They're just like a crazy mad scientist, just kind of blasting notes like crazy. So anyway, guys, we got to the end of the video here. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any Manceras that I should try. I've tried a lot of them, especially all the popular ones, and these are the ones I ended up with. So that being said, thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one.